Welcome to the Cocina Libre podcast. We are a storytelling platform that uplifts immigrant voices through food. At Cocina Libre, we host dinners, cooking classes, and workshops that center the lived experiences of immigrants using food as a way to connect, reflect, and build community. This podcast brings those conversations to you. Real stories from immigrant chefs, home cooks, and food workers about identity, immigration, and resilience. Hi Edgar, it's nice to be sitting here with you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Where are you originally from?
I am from Zacatecas, Mexico.
Yeah.
So it's like north central part.
Yeah.
Mexico.
And can I ask how old you are?
I'm 40.
Okay. And how old were you when you moved here?
The first time we came, it was 1989. I was like 5 years old. And the first time we moved to Alaska. Okay. When my dad used to work over there, so.
Okay. And then you said the first time, I'm assuming there was a second time?
Yeah, well, and then like we went like back and forth quite a bit. Okay. And then the last time we came was in '96. I was 12 years old, so just graduated elementary school, and then we moved back to Alaska.
Okay. How did you end up in Colorado?
Well, because of my dad. He's been in the restaurant industry since the '90s, and somehow he wanted to move closer to his family here in Colorado. So that's why we moved from Alaska to Colorado in 2001.
So food has been a huge part of your life since you were little, right?
Yeah,
Who taught you
definitely.
how to cook?
My dad.
Your dad. Do you remember what he taught you how to cook first?
Actually, the first thing he showed me, I was in junior high, 13 years old, and he took me to work to one of his, or where he used to work in Alaska in a restaurant, and he brought me there to wash dishes.
Okay.
So
that's how I started. You start, yeah, up the chain.
Start from the bottom, so.
Yeah. How long have you had your own restaurant?
It's been since 2012, the first one. It was in Steamboat Springs. It's a big restaurant. Was there for 5 years. It wasn't the greatest, so I kind of like felt that at some point that this is not for me. I don't know if I want to keep doing this. So, so I left, came back to the city, and started working again as an executive chef for a Hilton hotel, and was there for 2 years. And then I'm like, I don't feel like this is for me. I want to do my own thing. Mm-hmm. And that's when I started Rosa in 2019.
So you've been there for six years now?
Yep, 6 years. Well, yeah, there's the first Rosa, and then from there, we opened another 2.
What does sharing your food mean to you?
Well, it means a lot, like personally, because that's what I know that I can do good, and when people tell you like, oh, this is really good, and cooking Mexican food, because it's my roots, like I still, like when I'm cooking certain ingredients like mole, and you're frying the chilies, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of Mexico, because my grandpa and my uncles have they call them chilares, which is like, they hatch chilies and dried chilies. So that smell of, frying the chilies, it reminds me a little bit of that, so.
Yeah, so it brings you back home, and it feels like you're sharing a piece of that.
Exactly, Yeah, no, I feel like it's helped me along the way, so I feel like personally comfortable in the kitchen, like doing my own thing, and I like being in the back by myself sometimes, and obviously I'm surrounded by a lot of people, but I don't know, I just feel comfortable, like like I feel safe there cooking, because it's what I like to do. So
it's who you are, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I guess like one of the first times that I kind of like showed people what I like to do, I was like a sophomore or junior high school in Alaska. There's not very many, like Hispanic families where we were at that time. And we had to cook something for a class where everybody brings something, so I brought something that I knew how to do, and it was, like frijoles charros. And, it's just a way of showing, like, who you are and, like, what you can do and where you come from and talk about it. So
What was that like for you, sharing?
it was nice because, obviously, like, as an immigrant, like such a small, like, town, like very far from Mexico, so I kind of felt like alone sometimes, and I guess like that kind of like helped me like open up like who I was, or who I am. And
bring yourself to the space where you were living. Absolutely. How has your journey as an immigrant shaped the way that you cook and think about food?
I mean, just to think about like where I come from, like who we are, like my parents, grandparents, like recipes, and I just keep making them, I feel like that's a way, I don't know, I'll be an immigrant for the rest of my life, like, so I feel like making something that where I come from, kind of resembles who I am in some way. And
who are you when you cook?
I don't know, I just like to be alone, like just trying to make, the best food that I can, or the best recipes that I can, in some way to, I don't want to say to be accepted, but, obviously it's a business, but, for people to enjoy and like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you said accepted, and I was thinking understood also, right? And received at least. Yeah, for sure. What traditions, you talked about chiles, what traditions do you keep alive in your cooking, and how have you blended some of those traditions with new influences?
I think like we're always like, just trying to like rescue like a lot of like ingredients where we come from, because I feel like it's sometimes like it gets like, I don't know, messed up on the way where you can't identify Mexican food, and I feel like that's what I want to do, like, like show truly what Mexican food is and what it is. And there's so much in Mexico that we can bring out, like there's so many like regions, so many like ingredients, spices, moles, like one state from another can be very different. So I think it's time to show like, like people like, like true Mexican like recipes.
Are there ways in which Mexican food is misunderstood in the U.S.?
Yeah.
How so?
Like Tex-Mex, like Tex-Mex is one thing. Mexican food is very different. And for so many years, like people would think that, certain ingredients like cheddar cheese, which is from Wisconsin, or, Monterey Jack cheese, that's not even Mexican, so it gets messed up along the way. And that's what I've been trying to do for, the last few years, to actually showcase ingredients from Mexico, and put them on my dishes.
Yeah, I wonder if that's not parallel to what often happens with immigrants, right? That it's not just the food that is misunderstood, but also immigrants themselves.
Yeah, definitely. So,
how has your cooking brought people together or built understanding between cultures?
I don't know. I think, just making great food, and having such great people like working around me, like being a business owner, like you also like, like try to, it's not just about the business, but it's about, the community that surrounds us, like the city, and the people that you hire, like you give, or try to give out a lot of jobs, and
You've been here a while. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with the Denver community.
Well, I feel like the Denver area, well, more in the northern, or Longmont, Estes Park, Fort Collins. I graduated from Fort Collins, but you know, I feel like Denver is, I don't know, it's my second home. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel that we can do a lot more with, you know, like cooking and food. And
What are your hopes when you say we can do a lot more? What are you envisioning?
well, just like showing or opening more restaurants in the future. Like that's kind of like what I want. And yeah, I mean, like trying to improve our, you know, our food and you know, create jobs.
Can you share a moment when your food made someone feel at home or created a sense of belonging?
I don't know. I feel that almost daily. I want to say, like, cause I, you know, pretty much work in the restaurant all day, and like we have such a great team right now, and like people love what we're doing. You know, like, cause we really haven't done any like any advertising, nothing. So it's just word of mouth. So you know, like I feel connected and, you know, with the customer. Like we try to make them feel, you know, like part of our family. So
Yeah, absolutely. What does cooking mean to you beyond creating a meal?
it means my whole life. Like it means a lot. Like that's what I learned to do from a very young age, and that's how my dad kind of like taught me, or in his own way, to show me what it was, you know, like good, you know, like working hard and, you know, and bringing me into the kitchen like at a young age, and learning from him, you know.
I imagine as a business owner too, right? And growing up as
Yeah.
growing up career-wise, yeah. Tell me more about that, about learning how to cook from your dad.
It was probably like his way of teaching me, you know, like, cause he's a very like close person, you know, like very strict, like, you know, it's hard because he's never gonna like tell me, you know, like, oh, I love you, son, this and that. And so I feel like that's a way for him to somehow like show me, you know, what he knew what to do, and he tried to pass it on to me. And it was fun, like at first, like, you know, like learning, coming from you know, from school, like Friday, Saturday night, going to work, make a little bit of money, and but then like along the way, I mean, he taught me a lot, but then like some points, like he was like super, you know, like tough on me, you know. Sometimes I would have to quit my soccer tournaments because he wanted me to be there. But, you know, at that time I kind of saw it like, I mean, I was a teenager. I saw it like hard, you know, like, oh, this is personal, you know. But now that I'm grown, I have my own kids, you know, I feel thankful for him showing me how to work and be disciplined.
Are there points when you thought of quitting the food industry or being a chef?
Yeah, I mean, like in my teenagers, so many times. I just want to throw the towel or tell my dad, you know, I quit, but I couldn't. And then, but then after, you know, I got married, and, you know, I had to work, so I did what I learned what to do, and that's in the kitchen, you know. So I got married at a young age, so I started working in restaurants, and yeah, for so many years, like I would thought about like, is this really like my purpose in life? Is this what I want to do forever? You know, so like even after being married for a few years, having my son, like I was still thinking about what wanted to do, you know, like should I go back to school, do something else? But then I don't know, I found a little bit of, I want to say like love in the kitchen somehow, like, oh, like, you know, like I can work on myself, or, you know, like do things a little better, work harder, and I feel like right now, like I'm at like in a position where, you know, I like what I'm doing. I can be there every day, you know, and you know, I can be there 24/7 if I could.
Yeah. Owning a business in the food industry is extraordinarily challenging.
Yeah.
Do you still have some of those moments now where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore?
No, actually. I mean, I like what I'm doing. I feel like, you know, like we've learned from mistakes, you know,
Totally.
in the past, and I feel, you know, like I feel that, you know, like we can make our work environment like even better for everybody, you know, like, and thinking about like, you know, our team that works for us, you know, so.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's less at this stage, it sounds like it's less about growing up in the food industry and more about how do you leave a legacy, right? How do you make space for others too?
Yeah, and then like you learn certain things about the business and how to structure, you know, a business a little bit more properly, and I mean, at first it was a little hard when we opened Rosa in 2019. It was just me and my wife, you know, opened a small restaurant, and I felt that it was harder being there by myself as compared to now, where I have, you know, like a general manager or a team that surrounds me, you know. Yeah. So I feel like sometimes I work like better with other people, because when you're by yourself, like it's all on you, you know.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, yeah. If you could go back and speak to that adolescent that you said had many moments of throwing the towel and just quitting and being like, this is not for me, what would you tell them?
I mean, just learn, you know, take it as a learning, like a learning experience, you know, because I don't know, it's like you never know like where you're gonna be at in the next year, you know. So
yeah,
you know,
totally.
Just be grateful for what you have, and you know, and learn from certain people that push you. You know, sometimes like if they push you hard, it doesn't mean that they don't like you. Maybe they don't want you to fail. You know, so
yeah, they're pushing for you to grow, rooting for you in some way. Yeah, yeah. What would you like people to know about you as an immigrant, or about immigrants more broadly, when they have your food, when they eat your food?
You know, like just being an immigrant doesn't mean that we are bad, or you know, everybody's a bad person. You know, like because at the end of the day, like you know, like the majority of the back of the house restaurant industry, like it's immigrants, right? So, you know, I feel that, you know, like that people should like enjoy their food and to learn where we come from, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you see food continuing to shape your story and the legacy that we just talked about that you want to leave?
Yeah, well, it's going to be part of my life. You know, I want to just keep working hard to show, you know, people what we can do, or making it better. And, you know, it's who I am, like where I want to be in the future. You know, I cannot see myself doing something else at this point, you know.
Are you going to bring your child who's studying finance to work with you? Is that the plan?
Probably not. Yeah, that's why, I don't know. I mean, time flies, you know, so fast. So, you know, I just want him, I don't know, to have the education that I didn't, you know, or I wasn't able to achieve. You know, that's probably my purpose or you know, my goal with my son, you know, like to actually have a career, graduate, which is something that, you know, like none of my family has had. So
yeah, so giving your children opportunities that you weren't afforded by.
And I want to say like food and the restaurant industry has like helped me, you know, put him in a situation where he can actually be comfortable and, you know, like, or actually have the resources to pay for school, you know, because it's something that I wasn't able to achieve or to have, you know, after high school. So
yeah, absolutely. What was the easiest and what was the hardest part of growing up in the food industry as an immigrant?
Like the easiest is that you can pretty much, if you want to, you can work in the restaurant industry. Like, you know, like if you want, you can just go knocking on doors, you know. I'm sure you'll find a job, like, you know, if you really want to, in the back of the house, you know, or like cooking, you know. So I think it's fairly, like, it's easy to find a job, you know, but, you know, like keeping it, like whether you want to, I guess that's hard.
Yeah. And what was the hardest part about being an immigrant in the food industry or growing up in the food industry?
You have to work like in a low job environment, but then like, and that's what like many think of, like dishwashing and or working inside the restaurant, like with certain job, you know. But that's just I don't know, like a step towards becoming a good, you know, like a good chef.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's been part of your trajectory, certainly, right, as you were making it to where you are now.
Yeah, and it's not, there's nothing that can stop you from getting to, you know, like a certain like level of cooking, you know, or being a good chef. Like, there's really nothing that can stop you from getting to that point, you know. So
yeah. Edgar, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for sharing your story. I'm just so grateful that I get to learn more about you and your experience in the food industry.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me again. And
thanks for listening to the Cocina Libre podcast. To stay connected, follow us on Instagram at Cocina Libre_collective and visit cocinalibre.co to join our newsletter and support our chefs. We appreciate you being here. Until next time.